If you're a person who's usually moving very long distances, either by air or by land, but you get to notice that your feet are swelling now and then, and sometimes one swelling more than the other one, this video is exactly for you. I'll explain today's topic by using an actual scenario. There was a 56-year-old woman who was in the business of buying and reselling. She would go outside the country to come and resell her goods in Zambia. Now, one of the countries she used to visit the most was South Africa, and the distance from here to South Africa when you're moving by bus literally takes days. So she was thriving in this business. For 5 years straight, she never had issues. She recently got married and went with her husband to South Africa. On their way back, she noticed that her right leg was swelling more than the left leg. Now, she did mention it to the husband, and they promised that when they reach home, they'll probably take her to the hospital or something. But upon arrival, they moved a very short distance, something about, let's say, 100 meters. And this woman suddenly developed difficulties in breathing. She fell to the ground and she was unconscious. She was quickly rushed to the hospital, and the hospital, unfortunately, was about 30 minutes away. By the time they were getting there, he was told, the husband that is, that this woman had unfortunately passed away. Now, if you think about this situation in an African setting, the first thing people go to is that it's witchcraft. More so because it's a new husband, he's doing fine, probably even sacrificed her, we don't know. But my job today is to explain to you medically what happened in this actual scenario. And to understand this, we need to know how blood moves inside our body. The heart is like the generator, the genesis of everything. It moves blood from itself, it takes it to the lungs, and then that side in the lungs, oxygen is put, and then the lungs take it back to the heart. Now the blood is oxygenated. And then from the heart, the blood moves directly to the rest of the body. This is where now the body is given the oxygen, the nutrients, and everything. When every one of these things is exhausted and it's done, it's taken back to the heart. The heart then moves this and takes it to the lungs. And in the lungs, takes it back to the heart. So this is just a continuous process that keeps happening, as we've been seeing in this diagram. Now you have to understand that blood moving from the heart to the rest of the body moves very easily because the heart has that energy to pump. That same force that it's using is enough to push the blood to the rest of the body. But for the blood to go back from the rest of the body back to the heart, there's a little bit of assistance that's needed. And there are many mechanisms that are in place, but for the purpose of this discussion, we'll talk about one, which we call the peripheral pump. And these are your calf muscles. Believe it or not, your muscles literally help the veins to push blood up towards your lungs. Your calf area in chafu, your main in chafu, this thing helps you to move blood upwards. Now, coming back to our story, this woman is seated on the bus for a long period of time. What's the one thing that people usually do when they're on the bus? They're probably sleeping. They are probably not moving at all. So your blood is literally staying in these places because your calf muscles is not moving it enough. Three things get to happen when you are not moving. One is that your blood begins to settle down. Number two, it becomes thick. And number three, it forms a clot. Now, this clot in medicine is called a thrombus, which is a very huge problem. This thing, when it becomes very big, can block your vein. Now, when the vein is blocked, this simply means that the blood that's coming from the heart to the rest of your body cannot go back to the heart. Some amount obviously will go back using other veins, but that same particular vein will be blocked. At this point, this woman will obviously experience some sort of pain, either in the calf area, in the thigh area, depending on which vein has been blocked. Now, this woman then arrives at the bus station and then decides to get out of the car and then start moving. The moment she starts moving, the blood starts being moved from the calf area going upwards. Now remember, maybe some little blood was seeping out, but this same part, the clot, has remained in that particular area. So what will happen? It will start following, this clot will start following the exact same path where the blood passes. The movement themselves creates enough pressure to move this clot upwards. It can happen that maybe a fragment of this same clot alone moves upwards, and it will follow the exact same path. Now as it's moving, it will go to the right side of the heart. as we are seeing in this photo. From that part, it will go to the lungs. Now in the lungs is where it creates problems. Because remember, the lungs, when their vessels are blocked, it means that that oxygenation we talked about will not be happening. And this is exactly what brings the difficulties in breathing. If your lungs are not getting enough blood, the oxygenation won't happen. Your brain in turn won't receive oxygen. Your kidneys won't receive oxygen. All these problems in itself are very, very dangerous. And this is exactly what explains why this woman started having difficulties in breathing. And remember, if you starve the brain of literally 5 minutes of oxygen, you can lose consciousness and some of those brain cells start to die off. So what should you actually do when you know that this is unavoidable? You're a person who usually moves back and forth. Number one is that make sure you hydrate properly. The more water that you have, the more that you have in your system, which helps the blood flow quicker. Number two is that you need to be moving. Even if you are sitting at one particular point, attempt to stretch your legs, move your calf muscles a little bit to make them tense and then relax them again. Occasionally, in the part where just like in between the two seats of the bus, you can get out in the aisle there. You can walk a little bit, exercise. Every time the bus takes a stop, you can go outside, walk a little bit. And this is just promoting blood flow and preventing this clot from actually forming. Another bonus I'll leave you with, if your feet are swollen, you don't experience any pain after a very long trip, you can help yourself by elevating your feet. Let's say you lie down and then on the feet end of your bed, you just put 2-3 pillows or so, and then by morning, I'm sure your feet would have already been okay. But when one leg is more swollen than the other one, this just indicates a very serious problem. So I hope the next time you take a long trip, look at your feet, because the problem starts there but can end up reaching your lungs. Cheers.